Hello, my name is Marwa, and I am an alumna of the University of Michigan Dearborn.
And I'm Malak, and I'm a graduate student in global health at Michigan State University.
And today we will be presenting our project testing the prevalence of suicidal ideation among Arab Americans within the Metro Detroit area. So, since 1980, the population of Arab Americans nearly tripled in the Metro Detroit area, and this could be likely due to the large influx of immigrants as well as refugees. Given that we both identify with this community, we recognize the lack of literature surrounding suicide within this population. Additionally, the discussion of suicide as well as suicidal ideation within the Arab American community is highly stigmatized. Additionally, the mental health disparities disproportionately affect minorities, including Arab Americans. Those with mental illnesses are often ostracized, and this may magnify suicidal ideations due to the high stigmatization. The aim of our study is to determine the prevalence of suicidal ideation among Arab Americans compared to non Arab Americans and examine the contributing factors.
So, in order to collect our data, we first we first obtained we first obtained exemption status from the University of Michigan's Institutional Review Board, and then we distributed an anonymous digital survey conducted through Qualtrics software to adults ages 18 and over through various social media outlets such as Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, and email within the Metro Detroit area. This survey consisted of the Suicidal Behavior Questionnaire Revised, which is composed of a series of questions that test four dimensions of suicidality. One of the first being lifetime suicide ideation and or suicide attempt. The second is frequency of suicidal ideation over the past year. We also looked at the threat of suicide attempt and the likelihood of future suicidal behavior. As can be noted in Figure 1, based on the results, Arab Americans demonstrated less suicidal ideations than non-Arab Americans. There are a few factors that may play a role in these results, including religious and cultural norms, as well as the social stigma associated with suicidal ideations within the Arab American community.
Additionally, we tested the relation between one's cultural identification as compared to suicidal ideation. And we found that Arab Americans with high affiliation with their culture had a lower prevalence to suicidal ideations compared to those to non-Arab Americans. And this could be due to differing cultural norms as well as strong familial and social ties to their Arab culture. And then when looking at non Arab Americans, those with high affiliation with their culture had a higher prevalence of suicidal ideation compared to other respondents. And this could be attributed to decreased stigmatization of the discussion of suicidal ideation within the Western community compared to the Arab American culture.
So, overall, despite Arab Americans demonstrating less suicidal ideations than non Arab Americans, there is still a major need for bilingual mental health programs to ensure that those who do struggle with suicidal ideations or any other mental health problems have access to resources that they can use. Unfortunately, many people in the community do have access to resources that are in English, but they might not be able to use them to their utmost potential due to the language barrier that's present. Also, developing bilingual interventional programs like suicide prevention trainings, suicide hotlines, as well as support groups would likely improve mental health outcomes and decrease the stigma surrounding suicide amongst Arab Americans. Further studies can also be conducted to develop a better understanding of why a strong stigma exists towards suicidal ideation within the Arab American population. In the future, the results from this project can be elaborated on in many ways. Eventually, we hope to collaborate with religious and cultural centers to create and utilize educational mental health interventions. Ultimately, we also hope to develop bilingual informational guides to improve health literacy and promote a lifestyle that prioritizes one's mental health without the negative connotation that currently is associated with it. Should you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, whether through the chat or any of the emails associated with this project. Thank you for listening.